Thank you so much, Kai. And hi, everybody. So good to see you today. I'm Holly Brown, and I'm the CEO of Boston Research Services. We're a full service firm and also a proprietary panel provider. And I'm also with my girl, Angela Quinn. Angela, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. I'm Angela Quinn, and I work at Boston Research Services, and I am the Customer Relationship Manager.
So, superpowers, right? So if you know anything about the Marvel comics or the characters within them, you might know what superpowers are. So there's a lot of superpowers that Marvel has created. Some they have yet to create. And I want you to choose one or maybe even make one up of your own. So the reason why we do this is because your superpower might translate into you being something that you may not realize. Maybe it's a good observer, or someone that has strength and resilience. You might be sensitive to what other people are thinking or feeling, which is mine. Mine would be mind reading. So my goal is maybe to help them work through their emotions or be a supportive friend or mom or boss. There's a Marvel character called Storm that she controls the elements, which can imply that she's skilled at persuasion. So she might be successful at campaigning, fundraising, maybe even sales. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to talk to Angela about her superpower, which I don't even know what it is. Well, I'll find out. And I want you to think about what your superpower is. And at the end of this, we'll do a breakout session so you can talk about what your superpower is and maybe talk about how it impacts your life, whether your personal life or your work life. So Angela, I can't wait to find out what is your superpower and explain to us why you chose it and how it relates to you. We're going to start off talking about how it relates to you in your personal life.
Okay, so when I was thinking about this, I needed to kind of get my brain ticking over, thinking of the right kind of questions. So I spent a little while on Google, and there was three questions that came up that helped me choose. So these might also help you choose if you're not super familiar with this kind of conversation. So what do people come to me for? What do people compliment me on? What recommendations, testimonials have I received? So these are questions that I found that just kind of got my head ticking over. And then I found these silly little quizzes, that they're just, they just kind of pass the time. They're not peer reviewed or anything. I did a couple of those and I came back with linguist, integrity, and connector.
Wow.
So I chose connector. And the reason that I chose connector is because that traverses both my social life and my work life.
Right.
And it is something that people come to me for on a regular basis. Holly, you would know this as my boss. On a regular basis, if we can't help out a client, I'm like, hey, I have this huge spreadsheet. Tell me about what you're looking for and let me see if I can help you find the right person. So yeah, a connector.
Right. So
you go.
So that makes total sense to me. And all I could think of was the connector, like, okay, I'm stealing this, but Spider-Man spins webs, right? So that's sort of connecting people together. So maybe you're the Spider Woman. And so now switching over a bit. So you talk a little bit about how it impacts you how it manifests itself in your work life.
Yeah, for sure. So I also spent a little bit of time finding some information around this because, a lot of these superpower abilities can cross over even once you've defined one that you're particularly good at. So somebody who is a connector has to be personable. So someone that can chat to anyone, that has genuine curiosity about human beings as people. And that is something very much about how I communicate with people. I do not start with, hi, what do you do for work? We all work. And at a conference, we're there to connect and network for business and for that bottom line. But people are interesting and people sometimes work in different jobs and in different companies. So that my attraction to that networking is to connect on a really human level with the person. And that can be as easy as, oh, I love your hair, or great shoes, or how's your day going today? Or what sessions have you been to? So those little starter questions can get people talking and bring them out of their shell. And even though we're all there to network, not everyone finds it easy. I've even spoken to people in sales roles that feel uncomfortable walking up to somebody that they don't know. So having a little mental list of those questions, or even a list on your phone that you can glance at, where you can kick off those conversations and connect with someone on a personal level and then roll into the work afterwards. It's also how you stay more memorable, right?
Right.
So a connector has to have some level of confidence, otherwise they're not going to go up and have those conversations. They also need to be some kind of problem solver. So a networker is known for connecting people with ideas or people with solutions or people with people that might be able to help them out. So a problem solver and probably a divergent thinker is something that's going to be tied in with that, with being a connector. Relationship focused, of course. We're people dealing with people and ideas, need to be relationship focused. Open-minded and makes friends with unlikely people. So very much open-minded. You need to be open-minded to be a connector. You need to be able to talk to all kinds of people from different places with different sounding voices and different genders. And it's important to be able to chat to all of those people. Some of the most amazing friendships that I have in this industry going back 5 or 6 years now are people at the time when I met them that I couldn't work with. Like, we weren't compatible to work with, and yet they had me referrals and they mentioned my name, and I did the same for them when opportunities popped up that I thought that they would be like an ideal person for. So even if it's not the person, even if it's not the company or the skill, have those conversations and spend a minute talking to folks and connecting on a human level. I think that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the important thing about the superpowers is understanding for each individual person, like the way you just explained it, it sort of allows you to see what you're good at, see what you could improve at, and see what your skills are. So I'm not even sure if this has happened for you, but it's something that we all might want to think of is, do you think your superpower holds you back in any way or has any sort of negative impact on your life?
Yeah, right.
Maybe also how other people see your superpower. So is there any negativity that can come from that superpower?
For sure. I think that there's a shadow side to every superpower. If it goes to an extreme level or if it becomes overwhelming for you, I feel like there's lots of reasons why a superpower, lots of factors of each superpower that could fall into a shadow realm. So I know for me, I love to chat to people, like full stop. It doesn't matter where they're from or what they're doing or who they are or if they're important or not. So I know in the beginning when I started going to conferences and really networking, I used to chat to everyone. And I think I probably, it was a good business decision. I mean, it benefited the company and ended up in revenue. But I think now I definitely use my time more efficiently. So before a conference, I will go through and have a look who's speaking, have a look who has a booth, have a look who's chairing tracks.
Right.
Just have a look who's sponsored and have a look at those companies. If I have a contact there, is there somebody I know? Keep an eye out for them and say hello. Is there a company that we do business with already that we can take out for dinner or grab them a coffee or a drink or something at some point? And is there new companies that would look like a great potential client? So not only do I reach out to people before a conference via LinkedIn and maybe sometimes via email, I will then reconnect with them at the conference. So I'll go to their presentation or I'll pop into their booth or I'll recognize their face and have a conversation. So it's beforehand, you can do some of that work. And then during there's less work to do. And also I write a list. So a priority list of who would be really important to talk to, who I would love to talk to if I have time, and who's great to have a drink with because I enjoy that.
And that goes back, right. And that goes back to all connecting people together. And we appreciate your testimonial and your statements today on this. I think that's going to help people. And I think more importantly, right now, what we'd like to do is learn a little bit about everyone else's superpowers. And maybe you've had some time to think about it and we can get together and have a brief conversation on it. Does that sound good, Kai?
Yeah, that sounds real good. That's how we do it. So the question today, Holly and Angela, is what are your superpowers? What's the question?
Right. So what is the actual question? So I guess the question is, what if you could pick any superpower, what would it be? So what superpower do you think that you have? And maybe that might change after you research it a little bit, but thinking right now off the top of your head, what is your superpower and why?
And how does that manifest at work? And does it cross both home life and work life?